So there have been a lot of acting Oscar wins throughout the decades. What were the absolute most stunning upsets? Which wins kind of came out of nowhere? This is my list of the top 10 acting Oscar upsets of all time. Let's start with number 10, Best Supporting Actress, Beatrice Straight, Network.
The one is Beatrice Straight in Network.
We often bring this win up because it's one of the shortest running times for a performance that won an Academy Award. Beatrice Straight basically has one scene in Network. It's maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and she won the Oscar in Best Supporting Actress. Obviously, Network was beloved that year. It won Best Actress, Best Actor at the Oscars, and Beatrice Straight was able to deliver in one spectacular scene in that movie to win the Oscar. But it really was an upset because if you look on IMDb, she only has 3 listings on her awards page: a Razzie nomination, a Primetime Emmy Award nomination, and the Oscar win for Network. Like, she wasn't even nominated for the Golden Globe for her performance. She wasn't nominated at BAFTA, and she won the Oscar, like over Piper Laurie for Carrie, one of my favorite performances of the 1970s. Jodie Foster would have made a great win too for Taxi Driver, but Beatrice Straight rode the coattails of all that love for Network and won an Academy Award. Number 9, Best Supporting Actor, Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies.
Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies.
So in more recent years, I would say this was one of the more unexpected acting wins at the Oscars. Most of us thought Sylvester Stallone was going to win that night for his performance in Creed. He had won the Golden Globe Award, he won the Critics' Choice Award, but then he wasn't nominated at SAG or BAFTA, and so he was vulnerable going into Oscars night, but there was just so much love for that Rocky character. Stallone had never won an Oscar for playing the role. It felt right in a way that Stallone would win the Oscar for that performance. He didn't have much competition, like Idris Elba won at SAG, and he wasn't even nominated for the Oscar. Mark Rylance won at BAFTA, but there wasn't a whole lot of passion for the movie Bridge of Spies, so it didn't seem like he was going to win at the Oscars. So Patricia Arquette announcing the Best Supporting Actor winner as Mark Rylance, and it was like, what? Okay. There's some polite clapping in the crowd. I think everybody wanted to see Stallone up there. It would have been an amazing moment. It doesn't take anything away from Mark Rylance's excellent performance in Bridge of Spies, but his win there, still all these years later, comes off as very unexpected. Number 8, Best Actress, Grace Kelly, The Country Girl.
Grace Kelly for The Country Girl.
So this wasn't the biggest shocker in the history of the Oscars. Like, for that performance in The Country Girl, Grace Kelly won the Golden Globe Award in 1954. She's also in 2 great Alfred Hitchcock movies, Dial M for Murder and Rear Window, so she was definitely having a moment there. Her victory is not like out of the question, like, wow, where did that come from? But there was so much love for Judy Garland in A Star is Born that many people on the night thought she was going to win. Like, to the extent that camera crews were sent to her house. She was recovering and wasn't able to go to the ceremony. Like, she had cameras around her. Everybody thought, like, well, she's probably the favorite to win here. But it went to Grace Kelly for what's arguably kind of a forgettable movie and performance, The Country Girl. Again, you look at the circumstances, and it makes sense in a way why Kelly won over Garland, but at the same time, Garland was a sentimental favorite, and it would have made sense at the end of the day that Garland would have taken that over Kelly. Number 7, Best Actor, Anthony Hopkins, The Father.
And the Academy Award for Actor goes to Anthony Hopkins, The Father.
So this one, I would say, was a huge acting Oscar upset, kind of in the way it was presented in the ceremony itself. That was such a weird Academy Awards ceremony in early 2021 when they had the Best Picture prize to Nomadland go before Best Actress and Best Actor. Like, they ended the ceremony with Best Actor, and so all of us naturally assumed, oh, the late Chadwick Boseman is taking this. For Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, he had won the Golden Globe Award, Critics' Choice Award, SAG Award. It looked pretty likely that Boseman was going to win Best Actor at the Oscars. It would have made a very memorable Academy Awards moment. His widow was going to come out, I think, and give a speech. It was going to be very sad and emotional, and I think that's why they had Best Actor at the end. But then Joaquin Phoenix announces the winner as Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and everyone's like, oh, okay, and then there's some clapping, and he's not even there to give a speech, and then the ceremony just ends. It was the most anticlimactic Oscar ceremony in history. I mean, there had been a couple things pointing toward a victory for Hopkins. He won Best Actor at BAFTA. His movie was in Best Picture at the Oscars. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom wasn't. But I was still kind of expecting Boseman in a way. When Hopkins took the prize, yeah, that was kind of an insane, unexpected moment. Number 6, Best Supporting Actress, Anna Paquin, The Piano.
The Oscar goes to Anna Paquin, The Piano.
Here's the deal. Children don't win acting Oscars very often. It happens here and there. Like, there was Tatum O'Neal in the 1970s, but look at Haley Joel Osment for The Sixth Sense and Abigail Breslin for Little Miss Sunshine. Typically, the win is just getting nominated, and nobody really knew who Anna Paquin was. She burst onto the scene with The Piano from 1993, and many Academy members might have thought, you know what, let's give her a nomination. She doesn't have to win, over Rosie Perez for Fearless, and especially Winona Ryder for The Age of Innocence. Ryder won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress, so she seemed like she could take it at the end of the day at the Oscars. Perez was also breathing down her neck. She had done very well with critics, and so it seemed like the victory was going to Perez or Ryder, but then Gene Hackman announced the winner as Anna Paquin. And I remember watching that ceremony when I was a kid and being shocked by that victory. Seeing a kid go up on stage and win an Academy Award was something else. I think what helped her win was that The Piano was in Best Picture, it won Best Original Screenplay, it won Best Actress for Holly Hunter. The Age of Innocence and Fearless both underperformed and didn't get into Best Picture or Best Director or anything. So I think that's how Paquin scored this unexpected victory at the Oscars. Number 5, Best Supporting Actress, Marcia Gay Harden, Pollock.
Marcia Gay Harden and Pollock.
Best Supporting Actress in early 2001 was chaotic, to say the least. There was a different person winning at every major precursor ceremony. From the Golden Globes to Critics' Choice to SAG and to BAFTA, it was always a different person. So when we got to the Oscars, we didn't know. Like, who was going to take this? It could have gone to anybody, really. It could have gone to Kate Hudson. It could have gone to Frances McDormand or Judi Dench or Julie Walters. The only person who seemed unlikely in a way was Marcia Gay Harden, because she wasn't even nominated really at those precursor ceremonies. So it seemed like the win for her was just getting in at the Oscars for that pretty small independent film, Pollock, starring Ed Harris. I do think the total chaos in Best Supporting Actress that season is what brought the gold trophy to Marcia Gay Harden. I don't think she got like 60, 70% of the votes. I think she just barely got enough to win over a Hudson or a Dench or someone. I know a lot of people were rooting for Kate Hudson for Almost Famous. That's one of my favorite performances of 2000, easily. But Marcia Gay Harden's unexpected Oscar victory is pretty awesome too. The fact that she didn't really show up that award season and then won the Oscar, that almost never happens these days. She's a phenomenal actress who gives an amazing performance in Pollock, so that unexpected Oscar win was well deserved. Number 4, Best Actor, Adrien Brody, The Pianist.
Adrien Brody.
Oh boy, the look on Adrian Brody's face when Halle Berry calls his name as the winner of Best Actor for 2002. Like, I can't imagine too many people were predicting him, because all throughout that season, other people had been winning. Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York, Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt. I was thinking that night the win was going to go to Day-Lewis. He hadn't won his second Best Actor Oscar yet. It had been a while since My Left Foot. He won at SAG, so I thought it's probably going to Day-Lewis. Gangs of New York got 10 Oscar nominations. This is the category you can reward the film. So when the winner was announced as Adrian Brody, I mean, wow, that brought the house down. Everybody stood up and applauded, both for his performance, of course, but also because it was such a shocker in the moment. I mean, look at Nicholson's face. Look at Nicolas Cage. Like, they are taken aback. They were like, whoa, holy cow. We did not see that victory coming. Adrian Brody had been nominated pretty much everywhere, but he didn't win a Golden Globes or Critics' Choice or SAG or BAFTA. Like, going into the Oscars, he really hadn't won anything, and at only 29 years old, that was going to make him the youngest Best Actor Oscar winner ever. So yeah, it wasn't likely. That victory for Brody in Best Actor was absolutely an upset. Number 3, Best Supporting Actress, Juliette Binoche, The English Patient.
Juliette Binoche in The English Patient.
So everybody thought in early 1997 at the Oscars in Best Supporting Actress, Lauren Bacall was taking that 100% for her acclaimed performance in The Mirror Has Two Faces. She won at Golden Globes, she won at Critics' Choice, she won at SAG, she was a veteran, she had been around for decades and had never won an Academy Award. So even though her movie didn't do well at the Oscars, it's not in Best Picture or Best Director or Screenplay or anything, there was just such affection for Lauren Bacall that season that everybody assumed she was going to win. And so when Kevin Spacey announced the winner as Juliette Binoche, like that was insane. Like, everybody was like, what? Whoa, like that came out of nowhere, kind of. These days, it makes sense because of how much The English Patient overperformed. Like, not only in its number of nominations, but in its wins that night. It took picture, it took director, it took screenplay, a ton of tech categories. Like, it was winning things all over the place. So in retrospect, it makes sense why Binoche won. More awards voters were probably watching The English Patient, considering it in a variety of categories, and she does give an excellent performance in that film, and so it was probably close, but ultimately she was victorious over Bacall, and like, she didn't even have a speech prepared. She doesn't know what to say because she and everyone else was expecting Lauren Bacall to take that one. Talk about a very unexpected acting Oscar win. Number 2, Best Actress, Olivia Colman, The Favourites.
Olivia Colman.
So this one is similar, I would say, to the Lauren Bacall, Juliette Binoche situation. For most of awards season in early 2019, Glenn Close was winning everything. She won at Golden Globes, she won at Critics' Choice, she won at SAG, she was on her 7th Oscar nomination, and it just seemed like it was time. She's one of the greatest actors of her generation. She should have an Academy Award, and although her category was somewhat competitive, it didn't seem competitive enough that someone could overtake her at the Oscars, so I was predicting Close. I was ready to jump up and cheer when they announced her name as the Best Actress winner, but no, Frances McDormand says Olivia Colman, and I could not believe it. I sat there stunned for a good minute or so. I was like, really? We're gonna snub Close again after she had won so many precursors? Like, that was wild in the moment. But like the Binoche win, it makes sense in retrospect. Colman won the Golden Globe in comedy or musical. She won the BAFTA award Her movie overperformed in its number of nominations. It got into Picture, Director, 2 nominations in Supporting Actress, and The Wife only got into Actress, nowhere else. So yeah, it makes sense now why Colman beat Close, and most of us are pretty happy about it because Olivia Colman gave one of the all-timer Oscar speeches. I watch it all the time when I need a pick-me-up. It's so great, it's so funny, and so real and authentic. Even though that victory for Colman in Best Actress for The Favorite was very much an upset, it's one of the greatest acting Oscar upsets of all time. And finally, that takes me to the number one choice. What do I think was the most shocking, unexpected acting Oscar upset ever? It didn't take me long to come up with this one. My number one pick is Best Supporting Actress, Marissa Tomei, My Cousin Vinny.
And the Oscar goes to Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
Here's the deal. These are the 2 main reasons Tomei gets to be number one. First of all, she didn't even get a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress. She didn't win there. She wasn't even nominated. And then she gets the Oscar nomination, and she wins over 4 very acclaimed dramatic performances. Like, that just seemed unlikely. It seemed like Tomei getting in at the Oscars was the win for her. Like, she had never been nominated before. She didn't have an overdue factor. My Cousin Vinny is a very funny movie, but it wasn't like one of the most successful films of 1992. It wasn't on a bunch of critics' top 10 lists or anything. So if I had been predicting who was going to win Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars that night, I probably would have had Tomei, if not in 5th place, probably 4th. Like, I never would have thought she would have taken the gold trophy for that movie. In a way, it would have been like if Joan Cusack had won the Oscar for In and Out over Kim Basinger for LA Confidential. It would have been like if Melissa McCarthy had won the Oscar for Bridesmaids over Octavia Spencer for The Help. Like, either one of those victories would have been such an upset, would have been so shocking, it made sense why Basinger and Spencer won. They had taken a bunch of precursors and things, and they were more dramatic performances, unlike Tomei, who in My Cousin Vinny is giving a whirlwind comic turn. It's a great one, but it's not the kind of performance that typically wins an Academy Award. I mean, any of the other 4 women in the category at the Oscars would have made sense as a winner. Joan Plowright had won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress. Miranda Richardson had given 2 acclaimed performances that year and had been nominated all over the place, had won a Golden Globe in Best Actress in a musical or comedy. Vanessa Redgrave was in Howard's End, a movie that did very well that award season at the Oscars, got into Best Picture and Best Director and won Best Actress. And the great Judy Davis gives one of the best performances of 1992 in Woody Allen's Husbands and Wives. Woody Allen had a track record at the time of getting his talent wins at the Oscars in Best Supporting Actress. I mean, Diane Wiest and Mira Sorvino. Davis winning in early 1993 would have made sense, but Jack Palance announced the winner as Marissa Tomei for My Cousin Vinny, and the shock was so immense that an urban legend was born for many years that Jack Palance had been drunk that night and he read the wrong name as the Best Supporting Actress winner. That, of course, is silly. Tomei won fair and square, and it's such a great all-timer victory for a comedic performance. Marissa Tomei winning the gold trophy and Best Supporting Actress for My Cousin Vinny is my choice for the number one acting Oscar upset of all time. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below what are your choices for the best acting Oscar upsets ever. Is there anyone I left off the list? I'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.